Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of the Girls Lounge podcast, and today we are doing our first annual Halloween special. But before we get into it, leave us a review, rate the podcast, make sure you're following us, subscribing to us, following us on our social medias because that helps us out a lot, and you might as well share with a friend while you're at it. And now we're gonna get into what we've been up to. Like always, for me, short and simple, too much for my liking. I'm in need of relaxation. I swear, between schoolwork, my internship, and just like things with this podcast, like things have just been a lot to do in one day. I'm like, I miss my rot time before I had an internship, but it's all good things filling up my time, but it's like, wow, it's a lot and I'm ready for a break.
So for what I've been up to, very much like Kennedy, I am in need of some permanent relaxation. Like on the outside, I feel like I'm chilling. It looks like I'm thriving, but internally, there's just too much going on. Like I feel like everything is all we kind of touched base on this last episode, but everything is still like the same. But this past week, I had to lock in, y'all, because school is no joke. I literally went to a classroom on, I think it was Thursday, and I did not leave that room until it was like dark outside because I was locking in and grinding on my work. And I still do have an assignment that's due tonight that I have to finish, but I did get a lot done. So it's that point in the semester.
Now we're gonna get into our favorites of the week. So mine is being a fangirl. I just love it. I feel sorry for people who aren't fangirls because I like over this past week, I forgot what it was. In like our little like fangirl group chat with me, Liz, and Kelsey, I feel like we were talking a lot about, like Spider-Man, Tom, and Zendaya and stuff. And then just like with me getting a lot of like F1 content for like the upcoming race that just happened today, I was like, wow, I just love having so much content coming my way. And just like things to look forward to. Oh, and like Olivia Rodrigo, her Guts concert is like coming to Netflix this week, actually. So excited to watch it. Y'all will definitely hear my thoughts about that next week. I couldn't imagine not being a fangirl. I would literally have nothing to look forward to.
So my favorite of the week is a good old soup. I was home this past weekend and my mom, she made some soup. I don't even remember like what kind of soup. I'm going to be so honest with you guys. I just know that it was everything I needed. It was the perfect combination of all things fall. Fall and like, the colder weather is soup season, I am a soup girly to my core, so that was just so good.
Now you have me craving some soup. I haven't had soup in a hot minute.
I'll get some FedEx to you overnight, Kennedy.
Thank you. So now we're going to get into our sports quarter. I'm so excited for this one this week because this race was actually crazy. I listened to this podcast and they kind of like assign a word for races. And for me, since it was the Mexico GP, I'm going to say it was madness in Mexico because this race was crazy. It was in Mexico City. We definitely need to go to better organize us talk about F1. I try to do my best to be more like organized and like with my thoughts this time. So let me know what you guys think. So first, I guess we can talk about the content leading up to the race. So Liz, I'm gonna let you take this one away.
Y'all, the content we were being fed. You know me, if you know me, I'm not like as dedicated to the F1 sport, but if there's one thing that I am dedicated to, it is the content leading up to the race. And the Mexico GP did not disappoint because first we see these mariachi outfits. Charles, yeah, let's just say Charles' little PR team at Ferrari, yeah, they need a pay raise, y'all, because it was perfection. It was exquisite. So we have the mariachi outfits and we get a little photos from that. And then, I don't know if you saw this, Kennedy, but there's this clip where they're like sitting at a table. No, it wasn't a table. It was Carlos and Charles. They're like playing some game or something. And there's a mariachi group in the back. And Charles tells them to play this one song. And like, it's this like typical like Mexican song. For Charles to like request that, y'all, I literally died. I died when I saw that video clip. The vibes were everything. I'm literally just manifesting that we are at the next Mexico GP next year. I was with my cousins today, Kennedy, and one of my cousins, she was on Instagram scrolling through her stories, and someone she knows was literally at the race, like really good seats, like the Ferrari and all the cars literally like just drove past them, and I was like, bro, that's a sign. We're gonna be there watching in person next year. Also, I don't know if you saw clips of the airport. The airport looks so cool too. It's like all decorated with like F1 cars and everything, get you like in that spirit when you arrive.
No, I haven't seen anything about the airport, but I think I saw like a different clip of what you were talking about, the band, because I think like the band, they came up to Carlos with the microphone. Yeah, I was like, I didn't like fully watch the clip though. I just kind of scrolled past it. But then also along with what Liz was talking about with Charles content, his helmet reveal, fire. It was so good, and I loved his helmet, which is crazy because like that's honestly not something I really pay attention to be honest. But his helmet, fire.
Something about the Mexico GP compared to the other GPs, from my limited knowledge, I feel like the details were just there. Like the details in everything from literally, like I said, like the airport to the outfits to the helmets, the cars too. It was exquisite.
Yes, and even when I first turned on the TV to watch the race, they always do the pre-show, and then I listen to the national
Mhm.
anthem and just sing them like in like I guess traditional like Mexican wear, I guess
Mhm.
that the choir singers are wearing, just so pretty. I was like, next year, me and Liz will be there. So whoever from F1
Mhm.
Mexico, invite us, please.
Yep.
To keep on track, we're talking about the content. I wanted to get into Media Day. For those that don't know, usually how an F1 weekend goes is Thursday is Media Day, where they do a whole bunch of media stuff. What stood out to me was Oscar's iconic comment about Helmut Marko. Now, if you don't know who that is, he's like the head of Red Bull's like driver development program. And just all you need to know is that mouth is always running on that man. He always got something to say. And so he was talking about how like one of Oscar Piastri's like manager or something, Mark Webber, was like talking to Red Bull about possibly getting Oscar on the team in the future, which low key, this might be a hot take. I could see Oscar leaving McLaren in the future. I wouldn't say in the near future, but like in like 5 to 6 years, I could see him at another team. I don't know if that's a hot take. But anyways, so I guess a reporter asked Oscar about these comments, and he was like, definitely not. I'm happy where I am. I'm under contract for the next 2 years after this, and I'm certainly not looking to go elsewhere. So it wouldn't be a week in F1 without some comments from Helmut. And I just was like, Oscar, what an icon you are. Saying what everyone else is thinking. Like, what are we gonna do about Helmut Marko? I should ask Kamala about that. Like, what is her plan to do something about this man, even though he's just not American, but it's fine. And then the last thing that I really liked from Media Day was the McLaren and Williams boys together. I assumed it was like fan stage. So it was Oscar and Lando and then Franco. Why did I forget his name? Franco and Alec. And y'all, Franco, he got all shy. It was so funny because Oscar was like, I need to learn Spanish because I heard that like your interviews are funny. I was like, Oscar, you are just like us. And people wonder why I like Oscar. He's one of my top drivers. Like he's just so funny and he's just like us.
See, only comment I have is another thing we were being fed is the boys who like aren't Spanish speakers speaking Spanish. Yeah, I was sold.
Yes, I saw so much of Charles speaking Spanish specifically. I was like, okay, what can he not do? I saw him speaking Spanish and playing the guitar. He was like, I don't play that much, and then just plays it as if he's like an expert. I'm like, oh.
Also, the way I like just found out that his girlfriend is like part Mexican, if you know, you know, like the video of her like eating the Mexican candy with her friend, and the way like she started speaking, and I was like, that's not Spain Spanish. And then she spoke some more, and she started using like Mexican like phrases and everything, and I was like, yeah, like what is going on here? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I love her little taste test. And then next, I typically don't watch the practices, but I watched the first practice just because y'all need to get on Pato Award. He drives for Aero McLaren, which is McLaren's IndyCar team. And since he's Mexican, it was a Mexican race. They let him drive for FP1, I think mostly just to get like data and also for him to get the experience in an F1 car. And then for quali, I was shook because Oscar was out in Q1. And I was shook. That's the first time this whole entire season that he has not made it past, or he has not made it into Q3. So that was a shock for everyone. And Checo was also out, but we all know he's been struggling. So yeah, which is bad because Mexico was a home race for him. And then Carlos was on pole, which was led us into the race day with very high hopes for Carlos and Charles to have hopefully another 1-2 in Ferrari. But as you guys know, that did not happen. But we did get a Carlos win. We were so close to another Ferrari 1-2. But I think what happened is like Charles went wide, so it made him go off track. I thought he was really going to crash onto the wall, but he didn't, thankfully. And so Lando was just able to pass him. I was like, And then, of course, I've always talked about this how lap one is just, you have to be sad for lap one because craziness always happens. Like Alex and Yuki crashing like one of the first few corners. It was crazy, which led to a safety car for the first couple of laps, which just really can change up the game a bit. And then just, I feel like the main thing from this race that has people like talking is, again, we see Max and Lando battling again. When I tell y'all see this bed behind me, yeah, I literally jumped up on it because I was like, what's going on? Because I really wanted Lando to overtake Max, and then when he finally did, it was chaos because Max essentially he ran them off the road basically 2 times. Like I think the first time Lando tried to pass him on the outside, and Max literally just pushed him off the road. And then the other time, Lando tried to go in on the inside and he got pushed off. And because of that, that is why Charles was able to go up to second. And that's why I was like, wow, we're going to get another Ferrari 1-2 back to back. But unfortunately, like I just said, that didn't happen, but it's fine. But Max got 2 10-second penalties, which is good because if y'all know, them stewards do not like to give Max his penalties. And he deserves it because he be driving dirty. So I think everyone's glad that happened. I think Oscar did good. He started from P17 and it did 8th, which was pretty good. Mercedes had me scared. They're not even a team that like I root for, but I do like Hamilton, and I was scared that they was gonna crash because they was battling each other. But overall, final thoughts, I thought it was a very good, exciting race. I'm excited for Brazil next week. And if you didn't know, Carlos got driver of the day, which I think was deserved. Oh, and also, I thought it was funny because obviously a Spanish person won the Mexico GP. And it was funny because the announcer, when he first interviewed Carlos, he was like, Carlos, you're the king of Mexico or something. I was like, is he? and like his cousin came over who's also his manager with a Spanish flag. I was like, crazy to fly a Spanish flag in Mexico.
I wonder if anybody else has pointed that out. But I will say, when I was reading, because Kennedy was like updating me, sending me text messages, and when I read the text message about Charles like going off, I thought he crashed. I was like, what? Like he's out, he's done. And then I see that he got third. So honestly, I am really happy for Carlos though, getting him back on top. He has been having like a little bit of a rough season, but he's getting out of that, and that's okay.
Yes, and I think he needed this one last win with Ferrari. I mean, there's 4 more races, so he could win again, but I really think he needed that.
What Kennedy said, the universe was looking out for him today. And we're gonna move on to some culture and trendy topics. Here on the Girls Lounge, we are in the Halloween spirit, Halloween mood. I'm sure everybody knows like the whole controversy of was Halloween being celebrated like this past weekend? Is it being celebrated the actual Halloween weekend? We will never know. But we do have some things to mention and talk about on that like Halloween realm. First off, we have some celebrity influencer costume choices. They were quite out there this year, I feel like some of them.
Yeah, I saw a lot of creative ones that I really liked. Alex Earls as a Cheshire cat. Wow, what a tongue twister. So good. She looks so creepy, but like it's kind of a slay. Like she looks so good. I saw lots of people do Sabrina Carpenter, looked so good. I feel like you gotta have a certain look for it. So when you have that look, you better go for it, girl. And then I saw a lot of like Rob and Leah from Love Island ones, which I was like, interesting choice. And then I saw a lot of like Sweet Life of Zach and Cody themed ones. And then I saw like a really funny one where they were Troy and Chad from High School Musical. But I feel like a lot of people were very creative this year, even last year too, at least on TikTok. Oh, I saw some leopard ones that I thought were very cool.
Alex Earl though, like she went so like out there. Honestly, I did not expect that. The way when the prosthetic went on, I was like, now what is going on here? And then the finished like result, if I saw her on the streets, I wouldn't know that's her. No, like the makeup was actually insane. The way her body was getting like spray painted, I didn't realize like how in depth some people go all out for Halloween. And honestly, I'm here for it. I think it is the perfect Halloween spirit that we need. I also saw a couple that were like book related, and I thought that was like a good take. Like I saw one that was, I forgot the girl's name, but the main girl from Fourth Wing, the writer, her, and then I saw another that was like the Akatar little couple. So yeah, I thought the costumes were really good this year so far. We still have a weekend to go.
And then next, honestly, I feel like we don't talk about this certain actor that much anymore, but trust, I feel like for both of us, he's still number one. And that is Timothee Chalamet. Today that we're filming this, Sunday, October 27th, there was a Timothee Chalamet lookalike contest held in one of the parks in New York City today. There was a $50 grand prize. And, you know, honestly, I did not think it was gonna like really happen. Like, I saw like stuff about it on like Twitter and TikTok, but I was like, people are not gonna show up to that, or like very few people. And then a picture surfaced because Timmy's filming something and he like was by the poster and he was like, laughing. And then, I kind of forgot about it. And then this morning I wake up, guess who had the chance to do the funniest thing and did it? Timothee Chalamet. He literally just like walked in the middle. I think he had a mask on and then like took it off and was like, yo, the real Timmy's here. I was like, he is so iconic for that. So I'm gonna move to New York City now, you guys. So in case there's another contest in the future, I'll be there. But I was just like, wow, Timmy, the man you are.
If anything, Kennedy, you're the one who needs to hold the next contest, is what I'm hearing.
I should. Maybe I should hold one in Kentucky, but I don't think there's any Timmy boys here in Kentucky. We got Liz's face.
And now we're gonna get into what we're watching. So, you guys, if you've been keeping up with the podcast, I'm not watching anything new, just Gilmore Girls. And you guys, it is getting so good. The tension between Rory and Jess, oh, I'm living for it. If anything, before I watched the show, I consider myself a Jess girly just from the few clips I've seen. And now that I'm actually seeing it like in action, yeah, I stand by it.
I need to get on the Gilmore's girl train. Maybe next fall. Like this fall, time's running out. And I'm watching other things. But for me, pretty much watching the same TV shows that I did watch. 2 new documentaries this weekend. I watched Jailbreak, Love on the Run. This was like very in the news when it happened, but it was that one news case, if y'all remember, where that prison guard fell in love with the inmate and they were like on the run. And he was like a very dangerous man. Yeah, it was very crazy. Like, because I didn't know all the details about it and honestly much about like them individually. So I would really highly recommend watching that because it's crazy. And then I watched Sweet Bobby, My Catfish Nightmare, which was actually insane. Honestly, I feel like that's one you don't necessarily like need to watch because I feel like it didn't get interesting until like the kind of like confrontation of the story happened. But basically this girl was getting catfish by a guy that she thought she was in a relationship for almost 9 years, which was insane. I feel like I shouldn't say too much of my opinion, but me personally, I just don't understand how people could get catfish for that long, considering like she never saw him in person. And I don't think she even like heard his voice. And I want to reveal so badly who the catfish ended up being, but I'm not going to do that just in case. But just know it's crazy and everyone's freaking fake.
I don't understand how you can be catfish for 9 years and then never hear their voice. Like, what are you doing? Anyways.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to move into our song of the week. So, you guys, I'm back on the Gracie Abrams train because why did a new little like song sound clip pop up on my For You page? And it's simply become all that I've listened to. Like, the chorus that I'm about to play for you guys, it's so good. Okay, but this is, I don't even know the song name. 1 second. This is That Is So True by Gracie Abrams, and it's on like her like deluxe version that just released. I'll play you guys my favorite part.
So my song of the week is APT by Rose and Bruno. APT apt, I don't know. Short for apartment, I'm pretty sure. Heard it on TikTok and I've been obsessed since. So I'm going to play a little part for you guys. It's giving very much like rom-com vibes. So I'm going to play my part for y'all. So that is that song and y'all should listen to it. So and now we're going to get into the spookiness of the episode and we're just going to talk about all things Halloween. We're going to talk about traditions, costumes, favorite Halloween fall movies, some of our spooky experiences, maybe some others. We'll see. But let's just jump right into it.
We're gonna start off with some of our traditions. So I'll go ahead and get us started. I would go trick or treating as long as I can remember. Like I don't remember like a time when I didn't go trick or treating. You know, when I was younger, I don't even remember the last year I trick or treated. I'm not gonna lie. I know it wasn't like young though. It was like I think maybe my freshman year of high school. I'm not even gonna lie. I think it was like yeah. I think it was around then. Okay, pretty sure. But you know, like free candy, why would I pass that up? Also, I like don't like my age, so using that in our favor. But when I was younger, my family is like religious, just like a thing. But I remember that we would like I would go trick or treating with my like best friends, and then our parents were like also friends, and they were also like in the same like religious boat and everything. So like before we would go trick or treating, we would like get together and like pray, because like Halloween, I guess, some people be doing some crazy out of pocket, satanic, just some different kind of stuff out there. So our parents would like have us like pray and everything before we would go out and trick or treat. That's like our like tradition that we had, I guess.
I feel like praying is kind of sweet, get the demons away.
Right? They were just looking out for us, and we were looking out for the other people out there too, keeping the streets safe.
Exactly. For me, like Liz, trick or treated until I honestly was too old to be trick or treating. I think I either stopped, it was either freshman or sophomore year of high school. And like Liz said, free candy. So, like, why would I pass that up? And we saw other people there too that are like a year younger than us or like a year older than us out. So it's like, it wasn't bad. It was honestly kind of a vibe. But honestly, now I just watch Halloween movies leading up to actual Halloween. If you're wondering about my progress, I'm currently on the last Halloween Town movies. I got some more that I want to watch, and I think I'll be good to go by Thursday. So I'm doing good. And then usually I'll bake actual like cookies on actual Halloween. So yeah, that's about what I do now. In terms of like costumes, growing up, of course, I cannot remember them all. I know there's some pictures of me when I was like a baby, as like some animals, like a bee, some other things I can't remember at this moment. But what I vividly remember as like my favorite costumes was one year I was the werewolf girl from Monster High. I had like a little wig too. Love that wig. And then one year I was a tiger, which like of course I was a tiger. And that's like such an iconic photo too. It's giving like Maddie knew who she was from a young age. Love that one. And then one year I was like some type of like a red queen thing. I just remember having like a red and white dress. So yeah, maybe I can recreate those in the future.
For costumes for me, I also like had like a good variety of everything, but the one I vividly remember was also a Monster High one. I was Cleo de Nile. She's like the little Cleopatra and everything. And it was like a little group costume that we did with like the friends that I would go trick or treating with. And we did like homemade costumes. My friend's mom, she like made them. And I don't know if anybody else like remembers this, but at least like I feel like in Kentucky, like in the past, Halloween was cold. Like you'd have like your winter coat out. It was it was cold. I don't know about this year, because like climate change is real. We're feeling it right now. But that costume, like the Cleo one, it was the like those clothes that you would wear like underneath like your regular clothes, like the thermal clothing to keep warm. It was that, and it was like wrapped in like the like mummy looking gold stuff, and then like the little blue top. The costume ate, like I'm not even gonna lie, and it was homemade. My mom, she always did like the makeup and everything. Like she was like, y'all aren't just gonna put on a costume and go. Like she made us like look like the thing. Like I vividly remember my brother when he was like younger. I remember like elementary school they would do like costume like Halloween best dress or whatever. And my mom dressed him up as like Frankenstein, and she took like an old suit and like cut him up and like painted his face like green, and like he won the costume thing. Like we didn't play about our costumes back then.
Period. So it sounds like Halloween, your mom needs to help me dress whenever the next time I go out for Halloween, whenever that will be. But low key, like Monster High has a group costume. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like it's like a classic one. Like me and my friends this year, we're gonna be doing that. I'm Cleo again. My costume isn't gonna eat as much as it did when I was younger, But yeah.
And now we're gonna get into the movies. For me, I've already kind of mentioned what I be watching. Halloween Town movies, of course. Twitches, that'll be my next movies I get onto. Just so good. And of course, Girl versus Monster. And now just for like good fall movies, I really like Avalon High. That's a really good fall movie. In terms of shows, I haven't watched them this fall, but last fall I did restart One Tree Hill and Pretty Little Liars. Those are perfect fall shows, especially Pretty Little Liars, because it's just like it gives you the spooky vibes, and One Tree Hill is like the fall vibe. The next thing I'm gonna mention isn't a stuff on TV, but there's these YouTubers, Sam and Kobe, and they do like ghost hunting. When I tell y'all, I'm obsessed with them. I've been watching them for years since they've been doing exploring videos, and there's a new thing they've done within the past couple of years is like days leading up to Halloween, they release a couple videos and they call it Hell Week. And it's like just like very over the top videos of them ghost hunting. I need to catch up. But they're just so good and they always freak me out. So I always have to make sure I watch them in the daytime. But they are so good and they just set the mood and the vibe for spooky season, especially if you believe in ghosts, which I do.
So for me, like Kennedy, we have like the classic Disney movies. Disney back then, yeah, that's the Disney that was eating. Girl vs. Monsters, specifically the music. It's like a whole little musical at one point, and I eat that up, and I will be singing along every single word to the songs. Of course, Halloween Town, also a good one. Also, can we just talk, because I know like me and Kenny and our friends were talking about this earlier this week, or I think it was like yesterday, literally. Some of the characters in Halloween Town, they were kind of scary, y'all. Like, we specifically talking about how like the scenes where like when she first like gets into like Halloween Town and everything, and they're like panning over the town and the people. Some of them, I feel like I vividly remember one sitting in a car, like a not the like skeleton taxi driver, but I remember someone like in a car. Some of them were like they were kind of scary. I don't know if you want to add any comments to that, Kennedy.
I feel like they were also scary because, you know, every movie Halloween Town is going through it. So in like the first one, it's like when that dark thing makes them frozen. It's very scary. Oh, and then like when they're like gathering like things for a spell. So you like see more of the community. Yeah. Some of the monsters. Scary. Especially like the ones with like, you know, that. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. But there are just
If you
some
know,
that
you
were.
know.
Right. If you know, you know. Some of them were scary than others. Yeah. And then there's like one, and then like the second movie when they like start going all gray. Oh my gosh. And y'all remember the second movie towards the end where, okay, so y'all know Calabar's son would, like came back or whatever. And he put that spell where whatever costume they had on was like stuck to their face and like they became that monster. And when that mom became that green thing, so scary. She's like, ah. And I was like, oh my god, girl. And then, okay, one last comment. And then I just have Return to Halloween Town on. Y'all know that guy with the bigger nose and just slobber? Yeah, I don't like him. Scary. Like, boy, if you don't get a Kleenex or something.
The basically they had whoever was in charge of the makeup for these movies, they understood the assignment. Another thing that I love to watch is all like the Disney and Nick like Halloween special episodes. I know like Ant Farm had one where she was dressed as Frankenstein's wife, whatever, or the doctor. Yeah. I remember that costume. But specifically my favorite episode I think has to be the like iCarly Halloween special. I remember like at my friend's house, we literally like recreated the episode kind of like the layout of the scariness of it. And bruh, you know, something about us not being iPad kids back then, we had to use the creativity, but there was just like so many good episodes, and like the crossover episodes too. Something about just like the Halloween vibes. It was kind of scary sometimes at night, but it was so good.
Yeah, honestly, I don't remember any Nickelodeon like Halloween episodes, but speaking of like you and your friends like recreating stuff, I remember me and like one of my old childhood friends, we created like a horror movie on my little iPod 4. Good memories.
With the
Oh, okay.
iMovie editing.
I didn't have access to iMovie. All I got on my iPod is a bunch of unedited clips, but we sure enough thought we was funny eat. Oh, and also another thing, That Sweet Life of Zach and Cody Halloween episode where they're in that hotel room and that ghost lady, that used to scare me so badly. I could not watch that episode when I was younger.
Something about like it wasn't even like terrifying stuff, but I guess just like the way that they set up the mood and like it being night outside and then your room being dark. Yeah, I'd have to switch the channel.
And I think it's because like during the episode they're like, oh look, it's fake or whatever. Like they leave the room thinking like, oh, it's like all a joke, and then the lady ends up being like comes out the wall. I was like, no, thank you.
Personally, I love that like at least on Disney Plus where they have like Halloween episode thing, you don't have to like go searching for them. It just has them all laid out for you.
Yeah, they ate with that. And now we're gonna get into some of our own personal spooky experiences. Honestly, I don't have that many. Because if it was like traumatizing enough, I made sure I didn't remember it so I could leave peacefully. I feel like so many people, they see and hear things, but you just don't question it. That's why you might not see many minorities in scary movies, because one thing about me is I'm not gonna investigate. And then like the only like spooky weird thing that I can say has happened to me doesn't happen to me anymore, but when I was younger, I would have weird dreams when I was younger connected to like dead family members. After I went to like their wake or funeral, I'm gonna tell you guys about it because I want to post this clip on TikTok and see if like people on TikTok can like I summon the right people and they can tell me what this means. So this happened like when I was like super younger. Like I'm talking like only elementary school. Any funerals I've gone to now that I'm older, I haven't had this experience. But when I was younger, I would go to the wake, and I feel like it was mostly like the wake. They would come visit me in my dreams. I swear to God. Like it was like very specific, and it was the same like dream every time, but in like the own church or wherever that the funeral was being held. And it would be the same thing. It would be me walking down like the middle aisle of the church, and it would be empty. And then they're just in their casket, and they sit up, and then they say hello to me. And like that's it. But that has only happened when I was younger. And they do say that when you're younger, you're more open to that stuff because you don't have all those other influences, blocking that, connection. And I might sound crazy because I believe in this stuff. And to other people, they're just like, oh, it's just a coincidence. But I don't know. It might be something, it may not. But I just think that's very weird that has happened.
That's definitely like I'm trying to like imagine like little you just like having this dream with it like coming out of the casket and everything. Yeah, let us know, TikTok people out there. So for me personally, I also haven't really personally experienced anything like creepy and spooky. I also stay away from all that stuff. Like people when they be playing with like the Ouija board or like anything relating to like spirits and like that kind of stuff, I do believe in that personally, and I'm not even gonna mess with that because I'm not trying to like trigger or like mess up with some wrong person and then like I am facing the consequences. Like people that be going like to the graveyards and like taking pictures, yeah, no, absolutely not. I feel like definitely something could happen. But like in my family, specifically like my mom's family, I have a cousin that like can like sense like presences or something like that is what I've been told. So like there's that. And then my family, we have like a small business, and this business is like downtown where we're from, and it's like downtown, so it's like a historical building, so like it's been around for a while, and people sometimes be seeing like figures or something. There's like two figures specifically that they've seen. So like specifically the people that like live like upstairs or whatever, she's like seen like this lady in a robe. And then like the neighbors from the building next door, they're like, oh, like was she like dressed like this and like this, and she was like, yeah, how'd you know? And then apparently they've like seen her too, and it's someone that like used to live there back in the day or something like that. Yeah. And then another one, someone's like seen like a person in like a black like hoodie type thing. Yeah, I'm going with like it's like a historical building, so it's like all that kind of stuff. My family has never seen anything. My brother claims that he's like sometimes like like his cup moved or something like that, you know. But like I said, I'm going to stay away from anything like that because I do believe that stuff is out there.
Like Liz said, I do not play about that Ouija stuff because I be hearing they be trying to what's it called, like disguise themselves as people in your life so they can talk to you. Garrett, I can watch Sam and Colby deal with that, but I ain't do that because it's funny. Because one thing about me, like when they catch stuff in their YouTube videos, I'm like, whoa, like I want to go ghost hunting knowing good and well, first thing I catch something, I'm out. I'm out.
No, and like there's like a lot of like horror movies that are like based on true stories, and they all started with the Ouija board. I know. Have you seen Veronica? I think that's her name. It's like the Spanish movie, or maybe it's Victoria. I think it's Veronica though. It's a V name. But basically it's based on a true story in Spain. And these girls were like playing with the Ouija board, and then they contacted some wrong spirit. Girl was getting like, the spirit was like bothering her, and it basically ends with her, she like ends up like killing herself, like the spirit or something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it all started with that Ouija board. I
So
think that
that's
was
the
on
movie
mute.
I'm not
Oh wait,
watching.
what's
You know, we might have to check in on your brother. Cubs movie, you know. He might be telling the truth. He might be the Lulu. We never know. But yeah, if I was them people that saw the lady, I would not be living there anymore. I hate to say it. And the fact that they were so nonchalant about it, yeah, I do not play about that, especially because I'm scared of the dark. So I just do not question those things, and I would act like, oh, someone lives there. Like, okay, there's an old lady there, and I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm just gonna let it be. So to end the episode off, we thought we should share one story from Reddit. So this is coming from the Ask Reddit subreddit. Someone posted 6 years ago, what's your best true spooky story? Somebody commented, and I'm gonna read it. So they said, I lived in an apartment in 2002. The place was built in the 1900s, so it was just over 100 years old when I moved in. The living room and kitchen were fine, but the bathroom and bedroom were unnerving. Like, I just always felt like I was being watched, especially in the bedroom if the closet door was open. Those unnerving feelings just became moderately uncomfortable as I settled in. I felt safe in the bedroom, but only if the door was locked. One night, I was dead asleep when there was a loud bang on my bedroom door. When I got up the courage to get out of bed, I checked the apartment and all the windows were closed and locked from the inside. The door still had the chain secured. No one was in there. I mentioned the closet in the bedroom. I never liked going in there, and I never liked if the door was open. For some reason in my head, I would hear gasping noises. So for that reason, the closet stayed closed. A month or more after I was woken to the bang on my door, I was dead asleep. But something woke me up, and it was a pressure on me, like being held down. It was pitch black in my room. I couldn't see anything, but I knew someone was standing over me. When I could finally turn on a bedside lamp, no one was there. After then, I couldn't sleep in the dark. I had to sleep with the lamp on. The incident scared the life out of me, and after that, the unnerving feeling of being watched intensified. Friends would come over and comment about being uncomfortable in the bathroom, like being watched. It became so uncomfortable for me when I had the chance to move to another unit. I jumped at it. I packed up and got out. After me, several people rented the apartment and they would move out within months. I became friendly with the building manager and I told him that I felt the place was haunted. He kind of laughed it off. Years after they were renovating the place, building manager was doing some painting in there. The building owner was there too. I went and checked out the apartment and it looked nicer. It didn't feel as creepy. And I got to talking with the building owner. And through the course of conversation, he just throws it out there that a former tenant committed suicide in the closet by hanging themselves. He also mentioned that the original designer of the building lived in that apartment and died in there. I wasn't mad when I heard that, but felt validated that what I experienced was real. Now, let me find out. Two deaths happened in the apartment that I rented. Oh, I'm out. New builds only. I ain't living in no 1900, 18. People be liking that historical stuff. Mm-mm. Like, I know there's like some part of like DC something that was had like a lot of soldiers or something that died and people be hearing
Oh
stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
No, thank
Oh
you.
no, because the pressure on him. Yeah, no. That would have been my sign. Peace out. Not even like moving units. Like peace out to the whole place. Like who's to say that other stuff hasn't happened in the other units? You know.
No, exactly. He's talking about, yeah, I got to move to another unit. I would have moved buildings on the other side of town, new build only. Like, that is actually insane. Like, and that's like, I feel like in movies and stuff, they kind of like very like dramatize like paranormal activities. But I feel like in real life, it really is those little things that happen. And get, if first time I hear a bang, I'm going back to sleep. He talking about something, he got out of bed. I would have put my covers over my head, put something on the TV, and just prayed about it and went right back to sleep.
That part, like even when I'm home alone, like in my house, we have like wood floors and everything, and like there be creaking out of nowhere. And when I'm home alone, there is always some background noise going on. Got the TV on. If I'm hearing stuff, I'm not going out of the whatever room I'm in, you know? Imagine if I'm hearing like paranormal stuff or feeling paranormal stuff. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I just think God knows that some people are built for it and some aren't, and He knows that we aren't. And we thank Him for that every day.
I would never want to be built for this kind of stuff. And with that, that brings us to the end of the episode for this week's little spooky vibe episode on the Girls Lounge. Make sure you guys follow us on all of our socials. As always, they're linked in all of our bios, and make sure that you give us 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening on and engage with our content. Instagram and TikTok. We're trying out here, y'all. And with that, we'll see you guys next week on the Girls Lounge. Bye.
Bye.